Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular significance if you drive an electric vehicle. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by Father of a Stolen Child, 10th Man, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. How are you all? How's everyone in Discord?
Hello from Discord. Doing well. How are you guys?
Hey,
One of you is still on mute.
we got
so-
some sounds from Discord.
Yeah, nice. Makes a change. Let's do a bit of housekeeping.
Lively bunch.
Yeah, I've got a couple of replies, Neil. Can't moan. Can't grumble. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature?
Well, you're going to need a radius value first to get that, and we don't have that.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
I'm afraid it's the same answer for that.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Any evidence of the distance to the Sun?
I think I took the words out of his mouth.
What is the sun anyway?
That I do not know, Neil, I'm afraid, but any evidence of the distance to it?
Need an R value first.
We
I heard
would.
them saying that you could triangulate. Heard some ballers saying that, and I think it was Gems or Gem Pandas.
They can triangulate to get the distance to the Sun after they insert an R value, but where do they get a straight line to triangulate?
I think that's where they get messed up. So I don't think you can know the distance to the sun.
No. I mean, the flat earthers would also assert the same in some instances, but when they do so, they're not inserting an R after they triangulate. And they're not also assuming that they live in atmosphere, sphere-shaped air to never get a straight line to do so. So in many ways, you could argue that the flat earthers' justification for their 3,000 kilometres, or forget however high, it's been such a long time. Very few flat earthers come here to put their fundy flat earth position to us. But there we go. Yeah, they've got more justification with it because they don't have to justify refraction and curved surfaces that don't give them baselines that are straight, etc., etc. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
You definitely need an R for that.
Nope.
Right, any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
If you're a heliocentrist, you would need R to assert any hypothesis.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Not without a radius.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container? This is going swimmingly.
That's a negative.
Even if you had R, you still need a container to have gas pressure.
Is that it? I think we've covered them all, haven't we?
Molten iron core?
Covered it? I think that's
Yeah,
it.
you need R.
I haven't asked for R. There you go. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
That's a negative.
Well, that would be the first thing they would have to prove, wouldn't it? That would be, that's the sticking point of this whole debate is they can't measure it. And if they can't measure it, they can't assert it as real.
Right on.
The
That is
proof
the
for
crux.
R is terrestrial refraction.
Again,
The proof for R is terrestrial refraction.
that
It
assumes
has
R.
R in it.
Well, it's got R in it. That doesn't mean it's proof of it. Quite the contrary.
It's the proof it exists
Is it?
in the math.
It exists in the maths. Yes. Well done. That was quick. I thought that was going to be a lot more painful, Arwin.
I thought it was going to be like, well, why would you be asking for it if it didn't exist, huh? Huh?
I was going to say that, sort of, but
That's where I thought it was going to. But it exists in the maths. Yeah, that's all right. The health and welfare of unicorns can exist in maths.
yeah, but it doesn't really. Like, how many books are unicorn mechanics written down that are standard used by society?
Oh, that's right. Attack my farcical analogy. How was your show today, Arwin?
Meh.
Meh. Okay, fair enough. Ask someone else. Anybody from Discord had any nice discussions on their travels? Interesting talking points? New fundamentalist religious zealot globe beliefs put forward as proofs? Anything of that nature?
No. I did have a talk with the woman over where I was fishing yesterday, and we discussed flat Earth, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't believe any of the crap they tell us." And she started saying, "Do you think we landed on the moon? That's so I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, yeah." See, when you're close, when people go outside, they understand where they live.
That was a random person, was it?
Yeah, it was. I put the picture in the mainstream. Like, I don't have her face on it because I had this picture before, so I'm going to get a picture of her face too. But they walk their dogs, and they're all, there's a whole slew of these people. And they have dogs, and they just walk them around this place where I fish. So I pretty much know all of them. And I started talking to her. Well, I've been talking to her off and on, but I started talking to her yesterday. Somehow it came up. And I said, I don't know if you're going to want to stop and talk to me anymore after I say what I'm going to say. So I said, we're not living on a spinning water ball flying through an infinite vacuum, She says, yeah. I said, all the NASA stuff. She said, oh. And then she started talking about the moon landing. It's like, right. I said, we're living on a flat, stationary Earth. She says, yeah, I agree. It was that simple. Everybody just about pretty much that I ever talked to around here agrees that we're living on a flat and stationary Earth.
So you're saying it's ever creeping closer to the accepted as always being known to be true stage?
Yeah, a lot of these people don't know anything about this movement. They just understand the Earth is flat. They don't know diddly squat about what's going on. Most of these people with, this whole thing that we're doing. They don't know anything about it. They don't watch YouTube, they don't. And if they do, they're watching dogs or cats and, funny stuff. You know what I mean? They're not. They're just down to earth people,
I'm not following.
They don't care. They don't get involved with the rhetoric.
How do they know then? How have they come across this information if they're absolutely nothing to do with the current resurgence of flat Earth?
Just observation. Just looking, just seeing. It's obvious the sun's right there. The other day, the clouds filtered it so perfectly, it looked like an exact circular disc. So I don't know what kind of filters these people are using to shrink it down into almost nothingness, but I saw the disc yesterday. And I was trying to get my wife to look at it. She has a problem doing that. So I said, look, it's filtered perfectly. It was a perfect circle.
Cool. Well, I've just been signed out
Right
accidentally,
there,
so
right there.
it's just us in Discord for the. That's if I'm still live streaming, which I may not be. I still appear to be live. Let's just check on my live feed. I'm actually. No, it doesn't look like I am. Ah, damn you. Well, this will continue as a recording until I figure out the problem. Hopefully you can help me
No,
out
you're
and
good.
chat amongst yourselves while I'm doing this, though.
Oh. Yeah, he's not good. That's messed up.
These things happen. I'm not going to stress. I'm just going to sort it out. And if there's loads of dead air, I blame you lot because I've got to do this, figure it out. Bear with me.
So I don't, nobody else talks to people outside. Like, does anybody else live sort of semi-country, mountains, whatever, like where people, when they look, they understand what reality is and they just don't talk about it. But when you talk to them, you get their understanding. Like, yeah, the sun's right there. How far do they say it is again? If I say like 93 million miles, they just laugh because it's so ridiculous. Sun's right there. The moon's right there at night, same size. People observe things around here. And yet, I might say a disturbing amount of these people, not necessarily the people I talked to about flat Earth, but the people around are just living in fear. And that's all I'll say about that. It's just fear, right in the air. I don't know. But yeah, anybody who doesn't get out and talk to people
That
and mention,
has to
try to
work
get it in the
because it's
conversation,
angles.
you're not.
And then they'll try to make that angle work on a curved surface, which is impossible. So they're really in trouble.
Oh yeah,
Agreed.
And we're
but
back.
they just keep trying to talk around it, dude. You know, they just keep saying you're
Well-
wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and they just the delusion just keeps them set right where they're at.
There's that guy named Level 2. He won't come on the show, but he's always saying stuff, and he owns a sextant. So, and he says he uses it. I have no doubt he does, and I have no doubt it works. But it's not working on a curved surface because you need a flat baseline.
And that flat baseline extends out to the GP of any star you can see in the sky.
Absolutely.
And he's
So
not
that's-
getting it from the center of Earth, that's for sure.
Well, that's the closer right there. Is that any star you can see in the sky requires a flat baseline to its ground position, zenith. So
Yeah, that's
it
it.
requires a flat plane. That's why it's a flat Earth proof.
Yeah, the hits keep coming, like the foolish sayings. Oh yeah, the sextant's an angle measuring device, but you can't triangulate with it. Well, if it's an angle measuring device, what prevents it from being used to triangulate?
Triangulate.
They said it's an. Hold on a minute. They said it was an angle measuring device, but you don't triangulate with it.
Correct.
That has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Indeed.
Well, but they do say it because they have nothing else to say.
Well, I
And
mean
then-
that's wandering
then-
down the path of retardation, though.
Yeah,
how
but
can you
that's-
argue with something so stupid?
Well, that's after I posted all the references saying the sextant is used for triangulation. Then QE had a show on the sextant, which he invited me on. And he posted new ones that I hadn't even posted that said using the sextant is for triangulation. So we've got references, citations, whatever you want to call them at this point, from their own side, saying that the sextant is used to triangulate. And then where do they go from that? All we have to do is just listen to the responses that aren't well thought out, because they have to fight for a globe despite the facts that are presented before them.
Hey, we didn't even lose the live stream in that whole process. I thought we'd completely lost everything, and the live stream's still going when I connected back up. That's good.
Neil kept the show going too.
Yeah, whoever put the magic spell on the live show to keep it running, because I was just about to launch into restarting the live show, thinking, oh god, this is going to be a 10-minute minimum task, probably 15, and I just loaded it, and there it was. It was still working. So hello everyone in chat. You could obviously, I don't know how much. Maybe people could tell me in chat how much of that you actually got to hear. Was there any issue? Was it just my end, but the live stream carried on while I was sorting out the technical issue? It'd be nice to know. Just let me know from chat if you can. Thank you very much. Very weird.
But yeah, if the best rebuttal they have is to say that, you know, the way you triangulate your position with the sextant doesn't use triangles, then, you know, they're just so far gone that they'll never accept reality. You know, it's just, I don't know what you do with that.
Well, what we can do with that is, if Nathan's willing, go to Master B, and I've got a series of slides that will deal with it right now.
Yeah, sure. As I'm running live, and everything seems to be okay, I don't see the reason why not. I've just gone from super, you know, you go from like uber tense, super stressed to, oh, everything's fine. I'm kind of a bit like that. Do you want these green and black ones? Yeah.
Let's see which one. No, go to the top. Start from the other direction.
So
that's right after your,
meet invitation. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. All right.
Okay. So we've got Polaris first slide, right?
Yeah, Polaris. So here's Polaris in the sky, right? And you're on the ocean right there. Next slide will show a right angle. Polaris is directly over somewhere on the Earth. That's zenith straight line down, as you can see now. And there's your baseline, and you're here at the bottom of the picture with your sextant, and you're getting the angle to it. Next slide shows exactly what I just described with the sextant. And instead of the sun in this one, just imagine it's Polaris or any other star at any point. And this is how sextant works. It finds an angle. You can't find an angle without straight lines. You need a vertex. Next slide. Right angle. What is it? These are examples of right angles. You got a protractor and the sextant, even in their own books. This is your books, ballers, is a glorified protractor. You can see what a 90 degree is. You can see two lines that meet at a right angle are perpendicular. No escaping this. Next slide. We have that imagery that I asked you to have in your mind shown here in the picture of a navigator with his aid saying mark, and then he reads the degrees and the minutes of the sextant, but first they take down the time. They need the time as well. Next slide will show what a vertex is. Corner, a much needed corner. This is where the observer is, where the two lines meet. Following slide. In a very real sense, that's all there's to it. In principle, with globe in hand, you can go out on the deck with your sextant, measure the altitude of 3 stars, plot the GPs of those stars on the globe, subtract the altitudes you shot from 90 degrees. Pause and think for a minute if you still believe you're on the ball and a sextant can work on a curved surface. Subtract the altitudes you shot from 90 degrees to determine the size of the circle. That's the circle of equal altitude, by the way, in degrees to draw around each of the respective GPs, geographical position, where the three circles intersect is your position. You all see the 90-degree box under each star. Next slide, please. Showing one circle of equal altitude. In this illustration, you are somewhere on the circle of equal altitude around the GP of the object. But where? That circle could be thousands of miles in circumference. The answer is simple. Measure the altitude of two more celestial bodies. Where the three circles of equal altitude intersect is your location on the globe. Now, is that possible? Since we just found out you need a bottom base line to be straight all the way to the GP. Can this work on the globe? No, but they have to put that in there. Next slide. You can see here from one of the navigation explanation video sites that I go to that they've got how it works with a ship. And this is already showing the dip correction because the red line is already at the water line. And there's the star, there's the 90 degrees of the star, and there's your corner where the ship is for the zenith. The following slide, and they did this, not me, we had to laugh at it before. They showed this on that globe, which is really a picture of what I read on that other slide prior to this. It can't happen on the globe because you see, you can't triangulate without a baseline. This one's going out into space. It's impossible. Let that sink in for a little bit. Let's go to the black and white old videos of how the Navy depicts how a sextant works. So here we got the navigator in his aid in full uniform. Next slide shows a star and its GP and the ship where these two are. And you could see there a 90 degree. The next one will show the sextant altitude angle to it. You see the angle there. Follow up the following star page. You'll see that anywhere around that circle with that same altitude, it'll be the same distance. The next one shows the circle. So circle of equal altitude. Anywhere on the circle, it's the same angle. Next slide will show two stars directly over the Earth with its GP. Of course, there's a ship in the middle somewhere. The following slide will show the sextant being used to triangulate the GPs of those stars to the ship, where the zenith and baseline give you the vertex. That's you.
With his 10th, he'd broken up. Oh no.
Because you knew from your logbook that you're on this part of the crossing, not the other one. And by the way, these circles could be thousands of miles of radius, and the diameter would be double that. On the flat plane. The next slide shows a similar viewing, except it shows you on the ship and then a star in the distance with a straight zenith line to the GP. And here, the following slide will show where north is. And this is how you do your azimuth. So you come with that circle drawing from north going clockwise until you hit where you sighted that star. And now you set the bearing. This is how you get your bearing with the compass, the direction. Next slide shows, all right, so where we got the bearing, we know the star is over there. But where are we actually? Because we used our dead reckoning and our assumed position to figure this out. But when we go to the nautical almanac, we see that our angle should be this, but it's that, meaning our best guess is off by a little bit. So you make the correction, because in the almanac, it tells you exactly, for example, if this was 50 degrees, it tells you where it should be. But you were assuming maybe from 52 degrees or something. And they say, oh, okay, since I got the bearing, I'll just move my line up a bit or move it the other way, depending what the book said. And then you know now where your fix is exactly from your assumed position because you had the bearing. And then the last slide here will show you do that with 3 stars and you get a fix.
That's
2021.
so screwed.
2021, year of the sextant.
They are so screwed.
Excellent. That was great. That was the most comprehensive presentation you've done to date, 10th. That was really good.
Thank you. It gets better and better.
Yeah.
I would like to point out something that 10th said about the circle equal altitude.
Feel free.
Yeah, the circle equal altitude requires a flat baseline with parallel zeniths. Otherwise, it would be like a cone of divergent zeniths, not a circle of equal altitude.
Just take her outside.
Kids outside.
Just take her outside.
Show where the sun is. It's right there.
Go show
It's
how to
raining
use the
here.
sextant.
Your daughter rumpused you and completely ruined your point.
Yeah, she's great.
Well, she didn't ruin your
Bunch of
point.
1.22 miles.
She stole your thunder. That's the one.
Well, John is exactly right there. Impossible to have a circle of equal altitude on the globe.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Brian. Good to have you.
Hey, Nathan. How are things?
Pretty bad, technically speaking.
Yeah, I thought so.
If you were a religious fundy, this would be the moment to join, because you should catch me in the midst of trying to figure why things have gone wrong out, which I shouldn't really be doing. I should be concentrating. But there we go. How are you, Brian?
I'm good. Just listening in.
I haven't had a chance
missed a lot of the shows.
I haven't seen you short yet. I'm really sorry.
Which one? I brought out two. One is about gravity. The other one is about out rotation.
It's the rotation one I've not seen.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you want, I'll tell you about it, or I'll leave you watch it. I don't mind. But,
Or I could dig it out. Do you want me to add to my workload and dig it out and play it? Because it's probably only... Right, it's less than 60 seconds. I know that much.
only 40 seconds. Yeah, but you don't have to. I mean, we were on the sextant. It's fine. You don't have to. It's up to you, though. I don't mind. If you're busy enough, it's...
Because it's less than 60 seconds, I bet you anything you could rattle off exactly what you said in the short. So do you want to do that?
Yeah, I don't need to, but yeah, you don't need to do that. No, what I said was, what is the globe's answer for the fact that from my location on the 21st of December, solar noon is 4 minutes sooner than on the 21st of June? And everyone came back to me in comments with, it's the offset elliptical orbit, Kepler's Annalena. It's like, no. I know all about Kepler's Annalena. I know about it for years. I know where its origins is. I know everything, almost everything there is to know about it. This is a rotation issue. Sunrise, sunset, and solar noon is rotation. So 4 minutes difference officially. Now there may be, I'm not sure if there's even more, but there's officially 4 minutes. So on the 21st of December, there's a 4 minute difference in solar noon from then until June the 21st. So, I mean, what gives you solar noon on the globe? What gives you sunrise and sunset? Is it Kepler's offset elliptical orbit of the sun? No. It's only one thing, and that's rotation. So they have so now they have people coming back to me with ridiculous nonsense. They're trying to turn the 4 minutes into 2 minutes. Just unbelievably stupid nonsense.
But for what purpose?
But,
I mean, is that okay? They're changing the amount of time, but presumably not arbitrarily. They've got a reason why they're going to change it to 2 because they can account for those 2, or what?
Nah, they just need to make it smaller and make it. They're trying to make it as insignificant as possible, so they can kind of hand wave it away. That's all they're trying to do, because that's what they have to do. They have to. They can't. They can't, like officially, there's a 4-minute difference, so it's not 15 degrees an hour then. You know what I mean? What about happened to Thanks Bob? And I even have them telling me. One of them telling me it's actually one or two of them actually telling me it's actually 15.04 degrees per hour. You know, this kind of nonsense. What happened to Thanks Bob with his exact 15 degrees or whatever? You know, what happened to Thanks Bob when there's a 4-minute difference of rotation on your model? Because that's what there has to be. That's what it has to be. All they can do is talk about the NLEMA. Sorry,
Okay.
now I know more about that than you know. Go on.
Did you have a question, John?
Yeah, the way I understood it, the sidereal day is what you're talking about, right? The 14.985 degrees that it's claiming the Earth rotates.
I'm talking about a 4-minute difference from December 21st to June 21st, which is the 2 solstices. Sorry, I can't say that word quite well with an Irish accent.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking. Yeah, okay. They claim that the Earth isn't rotating a full 15 degrees because the rotation around the sun is changing the Earth's position relative to that. So, but that's what their claim is.
No, so their claim. So now their claim is that the Earth is not rotating a full 15. What happened to Thanks Bob? You know, that's complete and utter nonsense. I know Kepler's NLEMA. And I know it's the direction of the tilt. Well, the tilt is always in the one direction. The only changes in that is the position of the globe out around the sun. I know what they're talking about. It's totally not. What they're trying to do is make up for the fact that officially the sun is observed to move through the sky in the southern summer faster. That's what they're trying to make up for. But it still makes a 15-degree an hour rotation.
Okay,
It's
so it's all right. Sorry, I don't have to say it again. So I'll summarise it. So the bottom line is there's a discrepancy between what we actually observe in the celestial movements versus the claim that the rotation of Earth is causing those celestial movements. And when you put that into a model, i.e. the heliocentric globe model with Earth's spin causing the day and the night to come along by way of its movement, causing a perceived deflection in the sun, that would be a Coriolis deflection. So it's not actually moving, it's us moving, right? Like us on a roundabout, that's what's claimed to be the cause of the movement of the sun coming up and going down. But modelled, there's a 4-minute discrepancy. That's basically it, right?
Well, it could even be more than a 4-minute discrepancy, but officially there's a 4-minute discrepancy. So they're only giving it 4 minutes. So I don't even know if there is only 4 minutes of a discrepancy. But one thing is for certain is that solar noon on a globe is based on rotation. Sunrise and sunset, rotation. Now, the sunrise and sunset might change for your location throughout the year due to your position on a globe out. It will they explain it as the change in your position away from the sun, blah blah blah. But it doesn't matter because solar noon is a rotation issue. You can't have a 4-minute earlier sun solar noon. You can't have the solar noon being 4 minutes earlier on a globe. It's supposed to rotate 15 degrees per hour all day, every day. That's the claim. They claim this. How come there's a 4-minute difference? And even in
because the model's wrong. So the model's wrong. Do you remember when Wakey interviewed an astrophysicist, just didn't tell him that he was a flat earther? And when he highlighted an error with the model, her response was to say, oh, well, then we just have to change the model. That was her response.
They already did that. They call it the sidereal day.
There you go.
Sidereal day is the movement of the stars. So that doesn't work because the sidereal day is what gives you let's say astrology, what puts the sun into different astrological signs throughout the year. That's the sidereal day. There's a difference that the stars move faster than the sun in the heliocentric model.
Well,
but in general, the stars are moving
I'll post
around.
it.
The stars and sun don't have the same movement, same rate of movement. So sidereal day is about the stars movement. Like we're told we have a 15-degree an hour rotation on their globe, right? That means everything in the sky is not moving. We're moving. We're the ones moving. So regardless of an offset elliptical orbit around our sun, right, there's supposed to be a 15-degree an hour rotation. That's supposed to give us sunrise and sunset at solar noon daily. And what happens? Thanks, Bob. Now, I'm not trying to support Bob, but that's what they do. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob, for several years, since 2018. But now there's a 4-minute difference. Well, not now, there's always been a 4-minute difference. But the point is, 4 minutes difference. So there's not a 15-degree an hour rotation.
That's a yearly 4-minute difference, though, right?
Every 6 months, twice a year.
I thought it was a 2-minute difference every 6 months.
4 minutes every 6 months.
Yeah, it's like 4 seconds a day.
I think Rams was trying to say something about it there, was that?
I think it's 4 minutes a day, because what the one of the days is 23 hours and 56 seconds. Oh yeah, 4 seconds a day. Yeah, sorry, 4 seconds a day. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. It's 4 minutes a day. Yep.
Yeah, but the solar day and the sidereal day are different. This is the thing, you see. This is the nonsense. This is the trick. The solar day is 24 hours. The sidereal day is 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. That's the sidereal day, if I remember correctly. Those two, if those two don't change, the sun doesn't end up having the same length of day as the stars. The sidereal and solar day is different. That's why as I said, in astrology, when they say in astrology, oh, the sun is in this sign or the sun is in that sign, that's because the two different rates of movement, the stars and the sun, the two different rates of movement.
I was talking to Puppy about this the other day, I think, and he was saying, yeah, it's because of how much the Earth has moved in a day, in its orbit around the sun, and that's where the 4-minute adjustment is because of that.
Nah, he's talking out of his backside. He's talking out of his horn. Sorry for the language. Load of rubbish. We're supposed to have a 15-degree an hour rotation. Kepler's analemma and the offset elliptical orbit of the sun has absolutely nothing to do with the 15-degree an hour rotation. 15-degree an hour rotation is what gives us sunrise, sunset, and solar noon on the globe. There's a 4-minute difference twice a year. Do you know what I mean? 4-minute difference on December 21st, and 4-minute difference on June the 21st. Every year, all the time. And that's officially
it's the reason why 12 noon doesn't become 12 midnight every 6 months, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of things involved in that. It's like the tilt, and there's a lot of nonsense involved in it. Why that doesn't happen? But the point is, see, this is the thing. They'll try and fluff up as much as they can and add in as much of Kepler's analemma as they possibly can, right, to avoid any talk about rotation. Solar noon is a rotation issue. 4-minute difference twice a year. So in the original sun cycle and the observations of the sun, the geocentric cycle, it's explained, but it's not explained when it comes to the Earth rotating at 15 degrees an hour, the globe out rotating at 15 degrees an hour all day, every day. Thanks, Bob, since 2018. What happened to thanks, Bob? You know what I mean?
Right on. I'm sure it'll generate some discussion in the comment section of this video also, Brian. This is the first time people on this channel have heard of this, right? From what I gathered from what you said a few minutes ago, the explanation wasn't a decrease in the rotational rate per hour. It was an increase, right, though? Because John challenged you and said, well, no, it's slightly less, but you were saying they were trying to add slightly more. So that's the only bit I was a bit confused on.
Well, no, I mean, if for solar noon to be 4 minutes earlier or 4 minutes later would mean there's a constant change in rotation of the globe. The globe would never rotate at a constant rate because it would have to always change its rate of rotation from June 24th to December 24th, and then from December 24th back to June 24th. It would have to. Because why do we get, what is solar noon? Why do we get it on the globe? Why do we have a sunrise and a sunset? What's the claim? A 15 degree an hour rotation. Kepler's analemma explains the seasons. That's what Kepler's analemma explains. And the change in position in the sky of the sun throughout the year. That's what Kepler's analemma explains. It also explains, the change in movement of the sun and rate of movement. It also explains that. When I say it, it explains it. It doesn't prove it. It just explains it. But it has nothing to do with all that time for the 6 months that from their aphelion to perihelion and perihelion back to aphelion, for both those 6 months periods, the globe Earth is doing an offset elliptical orbit of the heliocentric sun, but all day, every day, it's supposed to be rotating at 15 degrees an hour, and that's what gives us solar noon, sunrise, and sunset. Do you understand? It's
yeah, I'm following along perfectly.
Issue. Yeah.
I know you're talking metaphorically to the people out there, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, but they have to just show, oh, it's the orbit of the sun, it's Kepler's analemma. It's like, no. I mean, I wouldn't have put out the video if I hadn't already done my research. I even did a whole presentation on Kepler's analemma back in 2017.
Just 1 second, Brian. Go ahead, Andrew C. You're really quiet, Andrew. Hold on. Andrew C. Can you get closer to your mic, Andrew?
Is that better?
Yeah, Jesus. Yes, that's better. Hello. Good to have
Right.
you.
I am a professor at a university here in London, and I'd like to discuss this ridiculous topic with you.
The one on the table with Brian's current assertion in regards to the analemma. Feel free. Yeah, you keep disappearing. We didn't hear what you just said, whatever you just said.
I'm having mic issues. Let me get that fixed. I'll be back.
No worries. Just let us know when you're ready. Apparently it's ridiculous, Brian, from what I've just heard.
Well, you see, this is the thing. I'd say he's just going to come at me with the same stuff as I've already heard.
Well, no, what I was going to say is that calling flat Earth is a whole ridiculous topic, or what we were just discussing is a ridiculous topic.
I opened his mic while he's in the middle of saying it, so I can only assume he's talking about Brian.
Well, you know, Brian's giving him a leg up. He's begging the question for him, so they might step into the ring with this one. You know.
True. We'll see.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
If he does get into the wrangle-dangle with Brian, everyone else, if you can hold your tongue.
He called the topic ridiculous, so I don't know if he was specifically talking about Brian's argument.
That's okay. That was the last thing on the table. I'm sure we can start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over way too quick when you ask for R. You got to play with your food.
Well, it's very likely about what I'm talking about, but who knows? Until he comes back, we won't know.
How you getting on, Andrew? You fixed your mic? You sounded great when it was working, by the way. Looks like we'll have to talk amongst ourselves. I think he'll just interject. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Is that better?
Yes, that seems much better,
Great,
unless you
perfect,
disappear again.
Great.
So, were you referencing
Okay.
specifically the topic that was on the table that Brian was discussing?
I was not. No, I haven't. I've just joined, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you want to tackle it, or I assume if you don't know,
Do
you
you
don't?
want to tell me what you are discussing? Then we can. I wanted to debate flat Earth, but I mean, if you're discussing something else as ridiculous, then we can go there.
Okay, can you drop the, tendency to be quite derogatory to everybody here? Is that a possibility? Fleric, please pop yourself on mute.
Not being derogatory. How was I being derogatory? I'm sorry if I'm offending you, sir, but that was not my intention.
Well, we'll see how we get on. So, you're obviously a sphere believer, right?
I believe in the heliocentric model. Yes, correct.
Okay, that needs a measurement for an R value. Do you know what the R value is, first of all?
The radius of the Earth, you mean?
That's right. Where'd you get the measurement for a radius for Earth?
Where do we get it? I mean, well, the Earth has been measured. We have that radius.
Oh, we can all go home then.
Well, yeah, you can.
All right, where'd you get
choosing
it?
to stay here on your own.
Maybe, where'd you
The
get
radius
it?
of the Earth
Maybe you
is
didn't understand the
6,000
question.
kilometers.
You're a professor, right? You're only good at listening.
Indeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did you get that measurement? Not we've got it. Where did you get it? Do you understand the difference between what you answered and what I asked?
We carried out experiments.
Experiments?
To measure the
Really?
Yes.
Oh, really? What's an experiment?
What? What do you mean?
Define experiment.
Well, define experiment. How is that relevant to the question?
Because you said you'd done experiments.
Well, we measured the Earth. That's
You said you'd done experiments. How is it relevant? You said the word. How is it relevant? You used it. Why say it if it's not relevant? If you're saying that word's not relevant and the definition of the word you use to claim you've got a measured R value isn't relevant, why did you use it?
You've lost me, sir.
You used, I'll speak slower, Professor, clearly, struggling to understand simple English. You used the word experiment. So I, as your opponent, asked you to define the word you used.
Okay,
your
sure.
response, I'm talking slower because you didn't understand the first time,
Well,
Professor. So shut up, Professor. Maybe you're not used to people telling you to shut up when you don't comprehend being asked to define a word you've used. You used it, define it. If you don't see the relevance in defining words you've used, don't use them. Clear?
An experiment, sir, is a procedure carried out to support or refute a hypothesis.
Oh,
That's
excellent.
what
What's
you're
a
getting
what's
at.
a hypothesis?
Well, experiments provide insight into cause and effect
Not what I
by
asked. It's
demonstrating
not what I
what
asked.
outcome.
It's not what I
occurs when
asked.
a
You seem to be
particular
struggling with
factor is
listening again there,
manipulated.
Professor. What's a hypothesis?
Why are we? I'm here to discuss. the
Why are we
shape of
doing
the
it?
Earth.
Because you've used the words. Do we have to go through this a second time? Comprehension, not your strong suit. So you used the
hypothesis
word.
proposed
You
explanation for a
used
phenomena.
the word. Now I'm asking you, what do you think the word you used means? I.e., that's called defining it. So you've used the word hypothesis as an explanation for the experiment. You struggle to understand why I'd want it defining. And you've used that word now, so I want you to define what you think a hypothesis is, so we can establish whether or not, Professor, we've got the prerequisite things needed to be a hypothesis when you give us the R value at the end of what you're claiming. Is that clear?
Okay.
Or should I slow that down as well? I haven't
No,
finished.
that's fine,
Haven't finished. Clearly
Well,
not
you
you.
just asked me a
Clearly
question,
not
so-
used to being told. I'm telling you how you're going to define what you've claimed, and I'm having to slow down because you repeatedly asked me to explain why we'd want the words you used defining. We do. The word on the table you used was hypothesis, Professor. Could you define it? Go ahead.
Yep. Hypothesis is a proposed explanation for a phenomena that we can observe.
Oh, really? What's a phenomena?
What's a phenomena? You don't know.
Yeah, you're going to ask me every single time when I ask you something. You're going to repeat it to buy yourself a little time. I think you're lying about being a professor, because if you were, you'd know instantaneously how to define a phenomenon.
I do know how to define it.
So do it.
See the relevant.
Because you've used the word. It's back to you not understanding the significance of the words you've used, you fucking clown.
Or fact or event. Phenomena is an observable fact or event.
Observable fact or event?
Yes.
That's a concrete noun.
Sorry?
Concrete noun. Define that.
A concrete noun? You asked me what is a phenomena, and
It's something happening.
You can't.
Something happening. You don't realise that that's something occurring.
Mm-hmm. The shape of the earth, the radius.
That's something happening, is it?
Yes, we have a radius.
Sorry, that's not a phenomena, Professor. You don't know what a phenomena is.
The earth itself is a phenomena.
You're an idiot. That's a concrete noun.
Well, you're the one who believes the earth is.
Yo, stupid idiot lying about being a professor. That's not a phenomena. You don't know what a phenomena is. Look it up so you can realise how wrong you are.
A phenomenon is an observable fact.
Stuttering bitch that's lying about being a professor. You are describing concrete nouns. That's not a phenomena. You're not going to get R from this. You're an idiot.
Google it.
Sorry, you're telling me to Google your claim I know what a phenomena is. It's something happening.
Can we move on to the...
Sorry, move on, stuttering, lying twat. No, we can't move on. You're lying. You're not a professor.
I am a professor, and that's not relevant whether...
You are not. You are a liar.
The earth is not flat.
Sorry, don't tell me what the earth is when I'm clearly calling you out on your lie about being a professor.
Question, Nathan.
Sorry, don't rumpus me. You are lying about being a professor. You are not. You are a liar.
I'm not lying. Do you want me to prove it?
Sorry, a professor would know what a phenomenon was. They wouldn't describe it as a concrete noun. You're a liar.
Accept the answer. You're wrong.
Sorry, I'm not asking about the answer. I'm challenging your credentials based on the fact that it's blatantly obvious to every single person watching that you're lying.
So I'm here to debate the shape of the earth, and you want to attack me for my credentials.
Yeah, because you said you could get R from an experiment. That would require a phenomena.
Fallacy.
Sorry, you said you could get R from an experiment. That would require a phenomena by your own words.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that would require something happening then, wouldn't it? But you don't understand what a phenomena is, and are a liar about being a professor, because you'd definitely understand what a phenomena was if you were. You're not. You're a liar.
That's great.
It's not great. It's you just being called out on coming here because you're a faceless twat, thinking that you can lie about being a professor, when it's blatantly obvious to everybody on both sides of the argument, watching and listening, that you haven't got the slightest clue about science. Clearly.
I'm lying. You're right.
Sorry, you don't know what a phenomena is, and you think that you can acquire one by way of experiment for R. Name the experiment. That would be the independent variable, dependent variable, hypothesis, actualization that gave you R. Name the experiment.
You're going to let me talk?
Did you understand the question? Name the experiment you claimed gave you R. Cat got your tongue, retard, liar about being a professor? Cat got your tongue? Can't name the experiment, Professor?
No, I can. I just don't know when I'm allowed to speak. Because
What? When you're asking me about when you can speak, you could have been giving me the name of the bullshit lie that you made up about having an experiment to get a mathematical derived value. That's R. You're a liar. You're being called out for being a clown who's way over his head. Do you think just chanting through me, calling you out on your lies and clear deceit?
No, I'm giving you the answer you asked for.
No, mate. You're not going to get an experiment for R. There isn't one. We all know that.
There is.
What's it called?
Eratosthenes.
What's the name of the experiment?
Have you heard of Eratosthenes?
That's not an experiment.
Mathematician?
It's not an experiment.
He performed the experiment.
It's not an experiment. He assumed R.
Yeah, so we
So he assumed R, you stupid clown. Sticks and shadows. He assumed R before he did that. You are completely idiotic. You've come here with a rudimentary understanding of your globe faith, and you think that you're going to tell us that that's an experiment. What was the dependent variable for this?
Just
This
admitted
is
they can't
idiotic.
measure it.
You're an idiot.
We need to assume.
Sorry, don't eat your mic just because you're being humiliated for your lies and rudimentary understanding of the thing you're claiming. Don't eat your mic.
Do you not understand?
Don't ad hom me either and tell me about what I don't understand. You don't understand what a phenomena is. You also think that sticks and shadows is an experiment. No naturally occurring phenomena, no independent variable, definitely not an experiment. You are a clown and a liar. It's not an experiment.
We need to assume R.
Sorry, it's not an experiment. You are an idiot.
R is. Oh my god, this guy is so dumb.
Sorry, kick this guy out. He's a useless idiot liar. Did you think you did
Shut up,
well,
muncher.
Andrew? Did you think you did
Damp
well,
cloth.
Professor Liar? Andrew C?
Damp cloth.
Excuse me. Did you think you did well? Did you think you'd come in and
Whoa,
tell us
you
that
never-
Sticks
you
and
didn't let me
Shadows
speak,
gave you an
sir.
hour measurement? Is that what you thought
You're
you
not
did
allowing
well?
me to speak, Nathan.
You're chanting straight through the middle while I ask you if you think you did well. I asked you questions and you gave me answers. You think that Sticks and Shadows is an experiment and it's got a phenomena, a naturally occurring event that you can study with scientific experimentation. You're wrong and an idiot. And you're moaning
Would you like
about
to
not
suck
getting a
my
chance
balls,
to
Nathan?
speak while I point out how thick you are for a live audience.
Would you like to suck my balls?
Every time Nathan asks you a question, you start asking him questions back. When he starts talking,
I'm
you start
answering
giving
him.
the
He's
answer
not
to the
letting me
question.
speak.
No, every time he talks, you start giving him the answer to the question instead of answering when he asks you the question.
Okay, well, I answered him.
You're a stutterer. You've been reduced to a stuttering bitch. Do you not understand what's happened? You've come in telling us we've got stupid ideas, and you've got a fundamental, rudimentary understanding of basics. That's it. But you're coming here telling us you're a professor.
I am.
No, you're not. You do not realise that we've all figured out, and it's glaringly obvious to anybody with even the slightest education that you are not a professor. You think you're still going to roll with that lie? That pause and sigh is him realising how fucking dishonest he is and that we've called him on it. A real professor would be outraged, would instantaneously tell me how wrong I was. They wouldn't sigh and groan. We know you are lying.
I can't be outraged because you.
Sorry, you are lying, though. We know you are. Did you think you'd come here and tell us you're a professor and get away with claiming Sticks and Shadows as an experiment? Wow, how pathetic. You want to elevate yourself to professor to make this shit claim? Is that what you need, you pathetic worm, to give yourself credits that you don't have to make a claim here? Build yourself up to be a professor in order to face the scary flat earthers. Got to give yourself false credit you haven't got. How pathetic.
Can we discuss the topic at hand instead of...
What, you being pathetic and a liar? That's the topic at hand. You've come in and claimed you're a professor. It's absolutely pathetic. There's that sigh again. Again, anybody who actually had the accreditation would be outraged. They wouldn't sigh. We know you're lying.
Outraged, Nathan.
I'm outraged that you come here and lied to me, right? You don't sound like a professor. You sound like an idiot.
I don't think a professor would tell you he's a professor straight off.
No.
I think he'd be more humble.
Right. I'd have some degree of modesty. This guy just balls
How
out.
does gravity work,
twat.
Nathan?
Sorry, why are you talking through me? Me highlighting to a live audience how stupid you are. To come here and lie about your credits and then sigh when I call you on them. You don't get the question. You're being asked why you're being so pathetic to come here and lie about being a professor. It's absolutely pathetic. Hey, check it out. Globe Believers watching. This dude has come here and lied to us about his credits. Does that sound familiar, Professor Dave? Yeah, that's you.
What are you a professor in?
Science.
He said with his crap mic that doesn't work, the professor who can't even figure out how to get a mic working, said with his broken now mic that he was a professor of science.
Mate.
That's a joke.
You can't become a PhD in science.
Tell him to
There's no
go through the
such thing.
scientific method.
No, there's no such thing, Neil. You're not.
Oh, no?
Just to
you could
abuse
be,
me.
You can be called a scientist, but you don't get a PhD in science. You get a PhD
maybe
in biochemistry or something.
Maybe he's a religious professor. You know, he professes his religion, is what he meant.
Scientologist.
How does gravity work?
Why are you asking
But
us
you're
something?
a
We've
professor,
called
you
you
should
out for
know.
being a liar. You think you're going to carry on? This guy's like a cum virus. He's just
What is
respawned. Oh yeah, what you saw through my disguise as a professor when you shot me in the face? I'll just respawn as Catwoman. Why are you asking us questions? We've called you out for being a flagrant liar. What's the deal? Do you think you've got the nerve to ask us stuff? You've had to come here and lie about what you've got credits on.
I'm not lying.
Because you haven't got them. That's clearly obvious to every single person watching on both sides.
What are your credentials?
Sorry,
Nathan?
nobody gives a crap. I'm not claiming to be a professor. You are, you dumb shit.
This is comical.
So you come here and lie about being a professor, and when I call you on it and you start sighing because you've blatantly been called out because of your lack of knowledge on science, yeah? Me, I'm not a professor, but I can easily call out you for not being one because I do actually understand what this stuff means. You don't. When asked for R, you told me you got an experiment. That's absurd. It's clear that you're not a professor, but yet you still think you've got the right to ask us something. Because in your mind, you think that by comparison to us, you're a professor. That's what you think. Oh, we're just so far below you. You made it clear with your opening statement. This stupid idea. Clearly, I am way levitated above this nonsense of flat Earth. I am superior. So much so, I'm going to designate myself a fucking professor.
Right, I'm not debating this anymore. You're either one of
So go fuck yourself, you stupid lying retard. Leave then, liar.
You leave.
Yeah, no one asked
Sorry,
you to come
I
in.
run this show. Are you having a laugh?
You having a laugh?
Sorry, that is not the behaviour of Professor accredited, right? That's the behaviour of a lying twat. Somebody kick him out.
Look, are we?
Don't tell me to look. We're telling you to get lost, liar.
Kick the prick.
You don't understand what's going on? The audience is acutely aware of how the globe believer currently on the panel has had to lie through his back teeth. You're listening, Professor Dave? Yeah?
Professor Dave.
The guy who also calls himself a professor like you have and lies when he's not. It's rife amongst you idiots who fight against us to just decide that you've got this lofty accreditation you haven't. You do it and so does Professor Dave, who's not a professor. Hello? Can't see? Maybe you don't comprehend why I'd be bringing this up, right?
Nathan, how did we...
Say my name, bitch. You don't comprehend why I'd compare you to Professor who's not a Professor Dave? You've claimed to be a professor. Stupid idiot globe believers.
Whatever, Nathan.
Whatever? You come to a flat earth debate and lie about your credits, and then it's whatever.
Prove that I'm lying.
It's already been proven beyond anybody who's in the audience's understanding. We already know you're lying, but what you think because we haven't got you to not show a certificate you're going to claim you've got, that you still got some shred of credibility in this. You are delusional. Everybody knows you're lying. Everybody. There are no exceptions. Nobody, literally, not one person in the audience thinks you're a professor. Not one.
I can see that there is one person in the audience.
Oh, wow, there's one completely delusional dick like you who believes you.
If you are a professor, then that's a lot worse.
Can we
That's a
discuss
much
the
worse
shape of the
situation.
Earth, Nathan?
This is
No!
all we got.
No, if you were a professor, yeah, I'd give you respect and let you make your claims. That you've got an experiment for R? You got shot in the face! Hello? Are you people really this retarded? Yeah? He came in and claimed he'd got an experiment for R.
How does
Yeah, and then they came up with
how does
one
a vacuum work then, Nathan?
Dumbo, you haven't got anything. You've got nothing.
Positive claim about being a professor, you need to show some credentials.
No, I don't need to prove myself, mate.
He's just
You don't
wasting our
need to
time.
because we
He's a
already know you're
professor in
lying.
science.
Prove it. What do you mean? I'm not asking you to prove it anymore. I know beyond all certitude you've lied.
I'm here to discuss the shape of the Earth.
You're here to lie about your credentials. You've already got zero credibility.
Why did you even bring up your credentials?
To let you know where you stand.
Oh, right. So we felt threatened by your superiority as a professor. Yeah, I've already laid that out. I know that. I laid it out.
Well, why are you asking then?
Because we want to know the mentality of the globe-believing retards like yourself and Professor Dave, who think that because they're dealing with flat earthers, suddenly they've got to elevate themselves to an educated position beyond their stature to make the argument.
Don't forget Professor
This is
Phil.
my first time on the show, Nathan. I'm sorry if we got...
Nobody cares. Nobody's asking you about how many times you've been on. We're asking what gives you the inclination to lie about being a professor.
Can we start over? Because...
Oh, what, you want to do over? Yeah, that would be also detailed when I described you being like a virus. Having been shot in the face, he's now literally verbalised it as I want to do over. Yeah, that would be you respawning. Me, I've already detailed this.
If you've already proven that you're a liar, why would we want to talk to you?
I'm not a liar. You think I'm a liar.
We know you are a liar. We know. Yeah, you're still under the misapprehension that we're all dumbos. They'll never know that I'm not a prof. They're all dumb. Yeah, we know. Hello? You're gonna carry on this lie? I cannot quite believe this is happening. You're gonna carry on claiming to be a professor?
I admit I lied.
Yeah, we fucking know you lied.
We move on.
No! Everybody watching, yeah?
Now,
We know you're liars. And so does the audience. Yeah? The fact that this guy's actually admitted to how he's come to a flat earth debate with his globe belief and had to lie about his credentials to do so. Are we that scary?
I'm not lying.
Sorry, you lied about being a professor. You just admitted to it 2 seconds ago.
I said, I admitted so that we could move on. I'm not lying. I am a professor. I'm a professor of physics and astronomy.
pick this guy out. He's a waste of time.
Yeah, it's just a total wanker. Literally, he's
think
going to carry on his lie.
Nathan, I think what we were talking about before he came in, I think maybe he came in to disrupt that.
I say if we discuss the topic at hand and leave my credentials alone, it'll be a lot more productive.
You don't have any credentials, lad. You threw them out the window.
I've got GCSEs, A levels, and a HND. So
you told me you were a professor in science. You're the first ever professor in science in history. There's no such thing as a professor in science. You can be a professor in biochemistry, a professor in astronomy, whatever. You can't be a professor in science.
Brian, they think we're dumb. They think
I
we're
know.
idiots. They could just
He's
say
going back.
anything.
He's going back on his professor claim now. It's ridiculous, man. You're a lawyer. Everyone knows you're a lawyer. We don't want to talk to you. What more do you want?
Nathan, have you ever sucked a black dick?
Outrageous.
Kick him out. I told you.
That's what they want to do. Lie and just talk filth. Yeah? When I do it, it's because it's a metaphor. If you get your head shot off in a video game and then need a do-over like you did, yeah? The people who humiliate the people who are bragging about being a professor in the game first have the opponent crouching on their face. It's called teabagging. It's a video game analogy. So asking me if I suck black dick, that's just crude. It's not an analogy. It's not me showing how I'm exercising my victory like a video gamer would by teabagging your dumbass. You're just being filthy after lying and being crude. This is what you got, Globers. This is what you've got to represent your faith. He represents you like Virus the Liar represents you. This is what you've got. Total scum. Scum of the earth. Liars who fight for the globe.
It's also extremely racist to just say, black dick. Like, why does the color of the dick matter?
Yeah, I'm 14% black. What's that got to do with anything?
You don't have to keep repeating it, though. Come on. Kick the asshole out.
I think he's got what he wanted, which was a diversion. He caused a diversion on the show. But he did show that they are willing to, that there's people on our opposition side that are absolutely willing to lie publicly.
He had no response to you saying Eratosthenes worked everything on the basis of assumptions.
Yeah, he got into the wrangle-dangle and wanted to ask me why you need to assume R. It's like, well, this is claimed to be an experiment. Oh my God.
He had no measurements. He had only calculations with math based on Eratosthenes' assumptions that the sun's rays are at such an infinite distance that light comes to Earth parallel, which is easily debunked by divergent rays that everyone could see. It to me is ridiculous. You caught him early. Good job.
With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. As I say, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. But a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you tuned in, smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!